So an improv class is comedy.
Yeah, and it sounds terrifying. I know what it is.
Exactly. And it's where you have to be quick on your feet. Mm-hmm. You have to be in the moment. And you go with the flow.
You're watching the Wow podcast. I'm Jennifer Robin. This conversation is for informational purposes only and is not medical advice. Full disclosure is in the description. Today on the show, we have Kelly S. Jones. She has served as a transformational life coach, healer, and teacher for 25 years. Kelly's work is anchored in the Akashic records, feng shui, energy healing, and intuition. She guides people in finding their authentic voices, transcending fear, and living in alignment with their truth. Welcome, Kelly.
Hi, Jennifer. Thank you.
I am so honored to have you here. I've seen you on TV, on Gaia TV. I'm sure many of our friends listening have as well. You have such an impressive mix of expertise that I'm excited to dive into. Would you like to start by sharing some parts of your journey that provided lessons and helped you with your awakening?
Where do I begin? Well, first of all, still awakening, right? So
It's a process, right?
It's exactly what it is. Yeah. It's completely a process. And it's interesting. And I just heard the other day, which resonated so much, like many of the light workers on the planet had a hard time coming in. So I almost got terminated before I made it in. My parents were very afraid. There was a lot going on. And so I found my way. Yeah. And then when I did, my first setting in motion, if you will, the life lessons was my parents divorcing at 4 years old. And that started the process of loss, abandonment. Of course, feeling unloved and unwanted, right, became a mix. And then, of course, those have, I call them like tentacles, right? There's so many ways that those act out and show up in our life. After that, it took 25 years, at 29 years old, when my father died and his mother died at the same time. And that was re-traumatizing. Didn't know it at the time, right? Just looking back, it's like, oh, wow, look at how this all is set up. And now that I've got many more years under my belt, it's kind of like, wow, just fascinating to see all the pieces coming together. And so that was like the loss, right, of love, the support system that I had. And then I ended up divorcing. And needing to find my own voice, my own power, not, again, realizing at the time. So then there was a loss of a relationship, even though it was by choice, still a deep loss. Fast forward actually into the feng shui community. I had a lot of backstabbing and
really?
Jealousy. Yeah.
That surprises me, actually.
Me too, right? I'm like, it's kind of tied to how I ended up doing what I'm doing, right? So here I'm in divorce. I went to group therapy. And in group therapy, I'm quote unquote not supposed to hear the words feng shui across the room. And I did. I was like, I just had to leave the conversation I was in. I was like, what was that? And I went over there, not realizing it was past life connected, not realizing I've been a feng shui master in past lives, right? All of this stuff. And when I got into the community, when I started doing feng shui, right, I needed the help. I was like, anywhere, bring peace into my life. Here I'm a single mother, etc. And I got taken in, if you will, under the wing of my master teacher. And then I had these experiences and I thought, man, a spiritual community, a place to kind of set, some roots down and to grow and develop myself, right? To go, wow. I need to move through a lot of stuff, not even realizing how much stuff I had. Came in for a big one this lifetime. I'll put it that way. Yeah, right. And so I had to leave. I wasn't being protected. So I had the loss of security, right? I thought I had the security blanket, if you will, right? To be in a community that would support me. And that was like, nope, gotta go. And I would say then I was in another relationship later down the line, and it was narcissistic.
Oh, no.
And this was the poster child of everything I came in to heal in this lifetime, right? And so what I did was I lost myself. It's like, wow, wow. And all through this, I mean, there's obviously, a lot of little stories, there's other big stories, etc. What I've come away with is trusting my intuition more. I've realized that I'm not a victim. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a huge one. Like, that's a huge part of my work is helping people to be empowered, to realize they're not a victim of their circumstances or situations. And to see that I'm a better teacher, I'm a better coach, I'm a better person, I'm a better mother. I don't blame people for my situations, right? So I take responsibility for my life and what's
Mm-hmm.
happening in it. So a lot of good stuff. So, I can relate to a lot of people and their hardships, their suffering, their pain, etc.
I'm so surprised that the community that you found, which should have been nurturing and supportive, was not.
It
I
yeah.
don't think I've ever heard that in the healing kind of in this space. I've never run across that.
Wow.
So that's
Oh,
sad. That's
yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
Did you eventually find other like-minded? I mean, I know you know the Gaia peeps, but did
Yeah.
you eventually find, like-minded healers and friends and that kind of stuff?
I have.
Yeah.
And like I've gone in and out of different tribes and groups that I've
Mm,
created as well as been a part of. But it's like the evolution is still happening, right?
yeah.
So it's like my spirit won't let me get stuck or stagnant, if you will, from that perspective.
Yeah.
So just actually about to embark on creating a new community. I've been moving a lot. Spirits had me kind of cleaning up
Okay.
around not the globe, but around the United States.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. Interesting. So this new group that you're forming, I'm just going to go way off topic. This new group that
Go
you're
for it.
forming, what does that look like or what are you envisioning?
Well, it's interesting. So it's actually kind of connected to you seeing me on Gaia, right? So I did a feng shui episode. I did an Akashic record episode. The reason they found me was because of a book I co-created, and it was connected to doing Akashic record gatherings. And
Mm,
so I would gather 20 to 80 people on a monthly basis, and we would do Q&A with the Akashic masters and teachers and loved ones, our souls, etc. And that turned into a book.
okay. Yep.
I mean, it was like this information was too good to be left in a recording, right? So it was like,
Yeah.
how do I pull this out? So anyway, so that created a book, and it's been years since that happened. And now that I'm in a new place and I can feel that it's time to be here for a bit of time, I'm ready. And I'm just going to be starting next month, actually. And I'm in Virginia, right? The state of Virginia in the United
Oh, it's
States.
beautiful down
So,
there.
oh, yes.
I'm in New Hampshire, but we lived in
Oh,
Maryland for many, many years when my kids were little, and that part of the country is beautiful.
nice. Yeah, it is. It is. So I'm being called. I'm being called back out into the community in that way and to
Great.
create a tribe, if you will, and on this level. And I'm a new person, right? So who I was then
Hmm.
was that version. And now today it's a very different, um, wiser, smarter, more powerful version of
Yeah.
myself. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Before we get too into this, some of our friends that are listening might not understand what the Akashic records are and what we're talking about when we say that. So, can you just give me like a junior high description of what you consider the Akashic records to be?
sure. Because I certainly didn't know that they were either, right? It's like, okay, who are you? What are they? So the Akashic records it's a Sanskrit word actually, and it means primordial source, okay, or substance. And so it's a field that records every thought, word, deed, action since we individuated from source. So I love this gal named Flower A. Newhouse, and she wrote about this in a book that I got, and it said, "Not a leaf falls from the tree without making an impression upon this delicate field."
Mm,
Okay. So I, through a sacred prayer, have the ability to access one's records, right? That recording. And so the recording is our, like I said, but it's our past, our present, and our potential for the future. Why is it the potential? Because we are in our free will. We are deciding. And so what is neat about the records that no other source that I know of does this is it helps to identify the potential outcome of something, but it never takes away our free will. In other words, the guides that I'm working with are always there empowering, bringing us back to our own truth and our own knowing so that we're making our decisions. They would never impose upon us to tell us what's going to happen, why it's going to happen, how it's going to happen.
Perfect. Perfect. So sounds like you lean into the Akashic a lot. Is that a big, big part of your practice?
It is.
And how does feng shui fit in? Do they work together in your work or?
Well, that's interesting, right? So it's been a fascinating journey for me anyway, how it's unfolded. So when I started with the feng shui, there's the Trinity. They call it the Trinity, the three different levels of energy. There's heaven, human, and earth. So feng shui works on the earth energy, and I've kind of coined the term divining the earth and unearthing the divine. So that's, in a nutshell, what I do. So feng shui led to teaching for my first master teacher. And in that class, I had a student ask me to do my Akashic records. And I was like, who are you and what are they? I've done everything under the sun, right? But it's like, I'd never heard of this. And so I was quite skeptical at first. So here I'm just starting feng shui, just starting my own business. And I'm like, I don't have room for something new and different. And I decided to do it. And it was the best decision I ever made. And as a child, at 8 years old, I wanted to be a therapist, but I couldn't do it that way. I was like, I had to do it a different route. And this was the route that Spirit provided me. I mean, like a world opened up, not only for me, but for me working with others. And so, right, feng shui works on the human or the earth energy. The astrology, if you will, right? The astrology works on the heaven energy, what they call the heaven energy. And so does the Akashic records. And then the human level, so right, I think I'm saying this kind of in order.
Yeah.
I was setting up a new home and setting up my healing room. And literally, Jennifer, out of the ceiling, come plowing into my crown chakra was due Christ light transmissions. I ducked. I was like, what? And I said, absolutely. Okay, you just have to tell me what they are and how to do them. Now, I've studied hypnosis. I've studied Reiki. I've studied energy healing, even with, the renowned Rosalind Bruyere. And this is what Spirit wanted me to do.
Interesting.
So it was fascinating to see how the heaven, human, and earth energy. So I can look at the whole person, not only the space that we live in, but the spiritual, mental, emotional, physical level to assist people. And that's what I call my trifecta approach, right? Where I bring all these elements in. It doesn't matter what door one comes in. It's always about ourselves. It's always about our focus, our energy, our perspective, and what we do. So,
wow, that's fabulous. And I'm glad you listen when you get those nudges and that divine inspiration. And also I'm struck by kind of what you said about, learning this and then learning that and then learning this. And I know myself and several other friends kind of in the healing arts who that tends to be a common story. It's like we dip our toe into this, and then as we grow, then we're learning something else. And the evolution, I guess, the process I'm finding interesting in your story. And then the other thing that hit me was the experiences that you had in your younger life and then in your married life, and how that enables you to help someone who's gone through something like their parents getting divorced or getting them divorced themselves. And that, a therapist or somebody who has never experienced that, yes, they can help the person, but it's on a different level, because somebody who's gone through it truly understands it and truly understands the actual feelings. So I just want to acknowledge that. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Yes. I came in with a tall order for sure. And it's a journey. And I think just to make comment to what you just shared too, which is a really important piece, even in the Akashic work, right? And it's our soul, it's our essence, it's who we are. And that is the next step, right? It's always just what's the next step. We're not trying to I call it when I'm working with clients, like you don't sit down to a full plate of food and expect yourself to consume it in one bite, right?
Right. Ooh,
So
that's
we
a good
take it,
analogy. Yes.
right? Or a buffet, right? You don't go above it and just, it's like, no, you pick and choose.
Mm-hmm.
You decide what looks good and appeals good and appeals rather, and live your life from the heart. That's certainly, right. They say the longest journey is from the 18
Yes.
inches, they say,
Yep.
from the head to
Yep.
the heart. So, right. Yeah.
I know you talk a lot about the dance of mirrors. Can you explain to us what you mean by that?
Absolutely. So the Dance of Mirrors actually came forward with my Akashic record gathering, and the guidance came through with that. And what that actually is it helps us, well, a couple of things, right? Understand our life experiences, because many times our life experiences confuse us and we don't understand them. And we don't know what way to look to unpack it. I like to write packets of wisdom. What is the wisdom within this Dance of Mirrors? And the Dance of Mirrors really two people reflecting the exact same thing or doing the exact same thing, right? And because I'm in the healing profession, I'm often looking at what is the unloving belief or the trapped emotion that the other is reflecting back to me. Now, we can also have the positive reflected back to us, right? Love, joy, self-appreciation. Let me give you some examples,
Okay.
right? Like on the healing perspective, my own journey when I had jealousy being reflected to me,
Okay.
right? Here I felt like a victim,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're jealous of me. They're making my life hard. Woe is me. This is happening to me. So anytime we're actually saying that, right? This is happening to me. That means I'm a victim. It's an opportunity to go, wait a minute, let me slow down. Let me dive deeper. What's really going on? And it took a long time before I was like, oh, that was actually jealousy, right? Things I wanted that I thought people had that I thought because they had it, I wasn't going to,
Interesting.
right? I'll give you a couple more examples, right, that I've seen with clients in my own life, etc. Let's say we have a friend or a family member that's complaining, and they're
Yep.
complaining all the time to the point you get sick and tired of hearing it. That's a sign. That's like I call it like looking into viewfinders going, why is this showing up? Be curious. Rather, change the why to what is this trying to tell me?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And when I ask that question, what is it trying to tell me? If we're talking about the dance of mirrors, it's I'm complaining. And maybe it doesn't. And the other piece that gets interesting, I might not be complaining about the exact same thing, which is why it might not look so
Yeah.
obvious to me. Right. But at some point I go, oh, wait a minute. I'm complaining a lot and I'm complaining in this area of my life. So what can I do to change that? And the neat thing too is when I change that inside myself, I become less of an attractor to have it be reflected back to me. I start shifting, hopefully, into a higher octave, higher frequency, so that now more love is being reflected back to me. I've got one more example. And that's because it's so common in our life, right? As people that are nitpicking, let's say, or being difficult with you, about you. And let's say it was a parent. Let's say it was a father, right? Let's say it's your husband or your spouse or your significant other. And it's really mirroring something that happened in your childhood with a parent.
Interesting.
Okay. But what we come to discover, the mirror part is I'm hard on myself. I'm picking myself apart. I don't give myself a break. And
That's pretty much everybody, I think.
right. But and
Yeah,
we're
I see
conditioned to
that.
believe we're disempowered. We're conditioned to believe we're a victim of all these people showing up. I had a really interesting example with a client who was in she actually came for an Akashic record session. And she says to me, she goes, I need to leave this job. I was like, oh, okay, what's going on? She's like, I don't know. This is like the third job I've been to, and I'm such a spiritual, high vibration being, and these people just want to bring me down. And I was like, right away, I knew what was going on. And she couldn't see this was her opportunity to see the mirror that was going on because she was just going to go job hopping. Next one, next
Yep.
one, next one. Not recognizing, right? They say that statement, I'm the common
Yeah.
denominator. Wherever I go, there I am. And it's true, right? Like these adages are like so powerful.
Yeah.
And here we are back at the mirror. So
Ever listen to a podcast with great content but wish the audio quality was better? Even with expensive equipment, audio recordings pick up everything. Appliance hums, barking dogs, notification beeps, and when listeners are wearing headphones, they hear all of it. Excessive ums and repetitive words can be really irritating too. Would you rather hear audio like this?
No matter how much somebody cares and how well-meaning they are.
Or polished like this?
No matter how much somebody cares and how well-meaning they are.
Every podcast deserves the spa treatment. With balanced audio levels and distractions removed, you can hear the difference immediately. Know a podcaster who'd appreciate a fresh perspective? I offer free podcast consultations where I share specific ideas to improve their show. Send them to podcastspa.com. That's podcastspa.com. Your referrals help support this show. I appreciate you. So in that example you just gave, what could have been the thing she needed to see in herself?
that's a great question. And we just commented on it. It was actually complaining,
Okay.
right? So here
Interesting.
she's complaining about them, and she was surrounded by those who were unhappy, right? So it had a happiness, a complaining element and quality to it that she was not accepting either, right? There's the third element, not accepting what was and where people are at, expecting people to be different than who they were. And so she was feeling they were also expecting her to be different than who she was.
Interesting.
So it was unaccepting.
Interesting. I think it's interesting as humans also, just these little tidbits that we tell ourselves, just that, what you just said. I'm expecting you to act a certain way. You're expecting me to act a certain way.
Right.
And none of it is done really on a conscious level. It's all happening, inside.
Subconsciously.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's right.
Yes.
So that's how do we see beneath our own surface, right?
Yeah.
And go deeper within a situation. And that's the willingness to be self-inquired.
Yeah. So what can people do once they recognize a trigger from one of these mirrors? If they go, aha, I recognize something's going on here. I'm seeing this same pattern happening. I'm the common denominator. What can they do about that?
Breathe.
Okay.
Right? Because oftentimes, right, when we get constricted, we actually stop breathing. So as funny as it is, it's a very great back pocket practice to have, like at any moment to go, okay, wait. And even before that is to be aware, to have the awareness and recognition. Okay. Guidance is saying, and even before that is the willingness, right?
Right.
The willingness to be aware and then pay attention. And then once you recognize, oh, this is happening, and it may take 100 times before you go, oh, there's my trigger. I'm staying aware for when it shows up again, so I have a different response instead of reaction. And so breathing is one. Two would be, oftentimes we need to step away. Now our ego often wants to get into the fray, right? You're my problem, etc. So what we're doing is we're moving into responsibility. And when I'm being responsible, and I'll even go as far as saying 100%. Taking 100% responsibility for our life experiences. It doesn't mean we're responsible for what comes to us.
Yes.
It's how we respond to it or react to it, that is. And then I would say identify what is it in this trigger that makes me feel uncomfortable. That's got information in it. It's telling me something. It's letting me know what about this trigger isn't working for me at that time, either because the situation or the person's not working for me, or something in me is judging, right? So we get triggered because I've pushed down, right, through either numbing or judging or shaming myself. And so the projection becomes I attack or I go numb or something because I'm saying you're my problem. So we're changing that dynamic. We're changing that situation really and how we interact with it. I would say the last thing would be then I work on it. I do the clearing work. I do the healing work. What is it that needs to happen so I can identify the unloving belief, I can correct it and start practicing, right? Like we said earlier, it's
Yeah.
a process.
Yeah.
It's not, oh, I got it. And then we think we're going to change the layers of our entire being in that
Yeah.
direction that quick. And then the last thing I'm thinking about is also emotions. Many people think because I feel this, I get to express it any way I want. It's my truth. It's what I feel. And that's not accurate. We actually want to qualify what's appropriate, right? Appropriateness is super important. What's appropriate? Isn't appropriate to spew all over somebody or make somebody feel bad and wrong and go hurt somebody intentionally. And I love saying this. Truth isn't truth if it isn't spoken in love. So I've been hearing for decades, speak your truth, speak my truth. I'm speaking my truth, right? And speaking my truth, it's not truth if I'm blaming, shaming, judging somebody as I share,
Yeah.
right? So I've cleared myself of my own judgments and shame. If I can speak to you, somebody, let's say, as an example, and share, here's what's going on for me. And that's really what I help clients move into that place of empowerment to go, okay, I have cleared and processed within myself. So I bring myself to like that 0 point.
Yeah.
Okay. That place of stillness within my being. And when I'm in that stillness, now the truth can arise. Now sharing can happen. And I do it where one of the ways to actually look at it is go, I'm not trying to trigger you. I'm not trying to make you feel bad or make you feel the way I say you made me feel. And I have a lot of clients and couples that I
Yeah.
work with, right? You watch this interesting tennis match, right? Back and forth. You made me feel, and they're not conscious of this, right?
Right,
You
right.
made me feel this way, unloved, unwanted, disrespected. So, and what's fascinating, and here's what's neat about the records, right? It's not a record of just the past. It's a recording. That's the difference, not just a record. And I just recently had a couple clients, he had done something like 3 or 4 or 5 years prior. And now the roles reversed. And now she's doing to him and he's reacting the same way she did. So it's like, wow. And when the awareness shows up to go, oh my gosh. And this is what our inner child wants, right? I want you to feel how you made me feel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we have to clear that first, and then we share from that place or the new space, right? And then we share, here's what's going on for me. And I'm calling to your heart and to the love that we have to shift this, to come to a new place together. So it's fascinating.
So, what happens if we can start to look at life in a different way as a game of mastery?
Love this question. Actually, everything changes, right? We're pointing ourselves in a vertical direction, right? Connecting with our divinity. And to me, we're learning a new language. And it's really the language of love. And most people don't know what love is. We have love in a very unique bucket of humanism, I'll call it. We get excited, right? Oftentimes we want to grow. Our soul, our spirit wants to grow. We want to become more and more. We're an expanding consciousness. And so we want to be the best version of ourselves. We want to know, how do I do that? What needs to happen, right? So curiosity becomes the name of the game, and inspiration. And we want to win, right? We want to win. Naturally, we want to win. We want to become and be focused on and become the best versions of ourselves. So there's also rules. We need to know what the rules are. And those are the universal rules. And those right, dance of mirrors is one of those rules, for example. Oneness is one of those rules. We have certain foundational pieces that are in play, and we want to learn them. And we want to learn, how do I become one who's functioning and operating out of my heart, out of love, out of love-based perceiving, versus fear-based, right? That's the work I do, is helping people move from that fear-based to the love-based perspective. Now we're talking about, I'm in the game of mastery. I'm mastering myself. And what I love about it is the game is stacked in our favor. Because we
Interesting.
are, right? We
I
already,
thought you were going to say it's stacked against us because this world is
right.
so negative.
But that's right. But that's why I like to, I love making the mind go, huh? Right? Because we have to stop the mind, right? The mind thinks it knows, right? Just like
Yeah.
you did, and I
Yep,
do too.
my brain
right?
went there.
Exactly. Our brain loves filling in the blanks.
Yeah.
I know when it's the part that we're actually having, right? That's a great example. It's like we're having to rewire, right?
Yes.
We're rewiring our brain, that part of ourselves that thinks it knows, but it actually doesn't, right? You're my problem. Somebody out there is my problem versus I have the power to change my dynamic.
Yes.
So it is stacked in our favor. Okay. Why? Because we already are masters. We're just here to remember. We're here to grow.
Ooh,
We're
yeah.
learning and we're healing. Okay. So it is a game of life, and the game itself is one of mastery. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to mull on that one for a little bit. Wow, that's an interesting way to think about it. as being stacked in your favor.
Right. Well, and that's what I help clients see, right? Because oftentimes they're coming from a place of things are stacked against me. I'm stuck. I can't get through this. I don't know how to do this. I keep repeating the self-sabotaging patterns, or even looking at our family dynamics, right? And it's like, they're my problem. They're telling me what to do. I have to do people pleaser, right? I have to do what they're telling me to do. And what I help them do is get back into the truth of who they are, get back into their mastery, as opposed to thinking things are stacked against them. No, we're going to find and build upon and create a stairway to your divinity. And that's a remembrance inside of yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds fabulous. I know many people who understand mentally. I'm one of these people. I'm very in my head. Like understand the concepts, get what I think is really happening here in this world. Right. But yet still fall into the fear versus love. Fear is a very big emotion on this planet at this time in so many ways.
Right. And there's purpose in it. It's so that we can heal on the collective. It's bringing up all the fears that we have, because, right, it's either fear or love.
Yes.
Okay. And so we're all here healing whatever fears, whatever illusions that we have bought into, hook, line, and sinker, or agreed to. It's really fascinating. Here, I'm just going to share a piece that's connected to the Akashic records and a lot of work that we do. And when I just mentioned the client, right, it was 4 or 5 years. Sometimes it's lifetimes. And that gets really difficult to see and understand, because I could be going through, let's say, a hardship right now, but it was a past life that brought this in. So what this does, right, is we want to trust what life brings us, trust what our soul is bringing, because just because I can't connect from where it came doesn't mean I can't connect within myself what's going on. For example, right, being born into a family, choosing a family that has a lot of, like me, I'll take me for an example, right? Feeling unloved. Well, clearly from a past life, I had that. I could also, and I did, had guilt about not loving others. Okay. And that guilt then becomes an attractor that I have the experience to know the other's side of the equation.
Yeah.
Because we live in wholeness. We need to see the whole.
Yes.
From all different perspectives. We have to have all the sides in order to really know the totality. So there's no, this is bad and this is right, and all of that human conditioning we put on things.
Yeah. And labeling.
Labeling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially with the good, bad. That's a big one.
Yes. Oh, yes.
What is one thing that you wish you could make all of us understand about healing and awakening? What's your biggest aha moment you want to give people?
Quite a while ago, I took an improv class. I don't know if you know what an improv class is. An improv class is comedy.
Yeah, and it
And
sounds
it's
terrifying. I know what it is.
exactly. And it's where you have to be quick on your feet. You have to be in the moment. And you go with the flow. And the philosophy is yes and. So the only rule of the road, so to speak, is yes and. So somebody offers you something, right? They're carrying a storyline, right? So you get a prompt and then the next person adds to the story. So they're sending it on a trajectory. You can't tell them, no, that's wrong, not okay with me. All you can do is in your inner being say yes and. So when we stop rejecting life or telling life it's wrong and the things that show up, interesting, right? What I just said about the Akashic records, right? So we've got these paths showing up. We don't necessarily know. We go, yes. And then we're in power, right? Choice is our power. And so by making a choice, I am expressing my power. I'm expressing my vote for myself. In the and part, I'm making a choice how I'm going to piggyback off of, take that river in a certain direction. So I think it's such a powerful tool, life
Yeah.
tool to live by. Yes, and.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, what are some ways that people can work with you, either individually or tell us about the different offerings that you have?
Well, heaven, human, and earth. So if we're looking to build a space, or you've been living in a space for 10 years and you can see there's different areas of your life you're ready for more balance or harmony or improvement, health, wealth, relationships, the classic saying, it's true. It's effective. And I work globally with people all over the world, so I don't need to be in your space. In fact, I have many people say to me, I see their space better than they do, and they're standing in it. So
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but you need to move it one more inch, and now we've got it.
Okay.
And the other would be if they're wanting to experience more joy in their life, more personal success or professional success. So I work both business professionals, individuals, and couples as well. And with the Akashic records, we're not limited. We're not limited to what area of the life that they want to improve and expand their healing and awareness in. And then the Christ light transmissions, those are actually energy sessions, specific energy sessions. And it's oftentimes something feels stuck emotionally, can't get to it through the talk. So we get through it through the energy bodies. And also healing on the physical level. Sometimes there's things stuck in the physical level, but it's connected to the mental. So the Christ light transmission has an easy way of accessing and moving that energy.
Very nice.
What everything is kind of led into is coaching, transformational life coaching. I do spiritual life coaching. And
that's a one-on-one thing or a group thing?
It's a one-on-one thing
One-on-one.
right now.
Okay.
Right now, but I also do teaching, right? I have certain classes that are online, and I, from time to time, hold classes that can be done on Zoom.
Okay. And where can we find all this information? What's your website?
It's kellysjones.net. That's KELLYS as in star, JONES.net.
Perfect. And a question I forgot to ask, but I want to,
Okay.
is how is your work different than if somebody just goes to traditional talk therapy? What are the benefits of doing it with this well-rounded approach that you're using?
I have an insider scoop. I have the ability to go to the heart of the matter of things that are going on. And while it's interactive and I'm leading clients back to their own personal power, I can also bypass a lot of the confusion or question marks and get direct to the issue in order to clear it, shift it, change it right then and there, and then start acting from that place and supporting that.
So sounds like there's a lot more clarity and possibly less time as well, because you're not fiddling around with trying to get to the issue. You just get to it.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Kelly. There's so many directions we could go with what you shared. I might have to have you back on the show in the future so we can go another direction. But thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you, Jennifer. It was lovely. I really appreciate it. And I do hope to come back. That would be great.
Okay. Goodbye, friends. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was. Just drop it in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more.